Hey, folks, welcome back to We the Champs. I'm your host, Jalen here. And hey, I told you he's going to be a common face this season. We got John returning back. What's up, John?
Hey, what's going on, Jay?
Nothing much. Just getting to the day. All right. So we just had another pretty great racing weekend in Formula One. The results: Oscar Piastri placed first. We had Lando taking second. So McLaren dominating in that aspect. And George Russell, one guy that I was really high on going into this season, getting another podium yet and taking third. So let's just get into our reactions and what we thought about this race. So I know earlier this weekend, the sprint race for the Chinese Grand Prix, Hamilton took that one, right?
Took it, and not did he just take it, but he walked away with it. It was impressive to see him up there. He qualified in the sprint qualifying well, and then he just ran away with it. There was no challenge to keeping up with him. Honestly, not sure what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday was wild. What did he place on Sunday?
Him and Leclerc, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were fifth and sixth as the race went, and to be both DQ'd just was, that shouldn't happen. Ferrari knows better, and this is not the first time that the same issue has happened to Hamilton. Either last year or the year before, where the plank on his car again was too thin, and they DQ'd him for another race. So this is the second time recently this has happened.
How does that happen? I mean, do they you'd have to think this is like compared to like a plane takeoff. There's way more plane takeoffs than there's Formula One races. So, they have to, I'm pretty sure they have to go through a checklist, check things like 2 or 3 times and make sure this is okay. I guess they check things for safety measures in that regard, but things alongside like the rules, maybe that makes sense. I can see how maybe those kind of things slip through the cracks and they don't, hunker down on those, and that kind of crap happens.
Yeah, it's a little weird because when you actually look at the measurements and what they were off, it's so ridiculous. But that is part of the technical directives. I believe the plank has to be at like 9 millimeters or in thickness by the end of the race, and I think Hamilton was like 8.66. So we're not talking, much. It's just barely off, but it's enough that enough for it to get him disqualified, and then Leclerc coming in underweight. Now that's even crazier. And then and Gasly also. So you got 3 drivers getting disqualified for technical, infractions in one race, which is just an underweight for 2 times and a plank for another. It's not a good day for their teams.
Dude, that is like, it's just those little slip ups costing those points. You got to think, massive points. You got to think how close Ferrari was to, I think they were within 14, 17 points of the constructors. I think they're behind in 61 points right now.
Oh yeah,
behind McLaren.
They're so far down right now. It's ridiculous. They are. Ferrari's got 17 points total, and and McLaren's got 78. So it's that cost them a good probably almost 20 points. I think they probably would have been second or third in the constructors had that. Williams is in front of Ferrari right now.
Yeah, that's not good right now.
That's not normal.
Okay, and then of course we had Piastri take pole on the qualifying race or whatever, and he held the lead, played it right. The team had his back, and Piastri took first place with Lando backing him up for the most part of the race.
Yeah, that was a pretty good lead from pole for Piastri to do that, and him for the I think the tires were kind of the biggest challenge in the race for a lot of the guys because they all started on the mediums, and then the original plan was for a two-stop race for everyone, and then they got on the hards, and the hards wound up holding on longer than they anticipated, and it gave them pace. I do believe that Lando was about to challenge Piastri for the lead, but he lost
That's
his
what I'm trying
brakes.
to see.
He
Yeah,
lost,
yeah.
so him losing his brakes, they were like, just get the car to the end. And I think, he had a pretty decent lead over Russell. And that lead was really coming. Had Russell had a couple more laps, he would have taken Lando. Maybe even one more lap, he would have had Lando for that. So that was tight and close for them to run like they did. But yeah, McLaren is right now. They just have the car. There's something going on early in their and at the end of the last year, about midway through last year, they started really showing a lot of pace, and their car has just maintained. It's just gotten better, and the right now, who knows who's going to catch up with them? I mean, they've got a good lead and a good solid jump, but if you remember anything from last year, the Red Bull car, the RB20, no one could touch it until
Right. Yeah.
Miami. And by the time they got to Miami, McLaren started taking hold.
Yeah, they really started rising up. They were talking about them having the best car preseason of last year.
They have a solid run at it, and they've got two very, very good drivers. And again, the biggest thing with McLaren's biggest problem is who are they going to let win if the races each time. Who's going to be the lead driver, and are they going to let these two actually challenge each other on the race course? Because if that's going to happen, they're it's going to be interesting to see what it all shakes out, because I have a feeling they'll take each other out, just racing each other.
Yeah, but I mean, they're in the position to control this right now, man. They really need to sit and talk to these guys and be like, all right, man, look, we're trying. Let's
to win.
Yeah, we're trying to win. We get this together. And honestly, I forgot what happened to Piastri in the first race. He slid out, or
he slid out there. He had a good run in second and slid out in the race in the rain, and that cost him a race. And so and especially his home race, he was pissed that had happened. So when he came back in Shanghai, he was gonna win at all cost. So that I'm surprised he didn't do better in the sprint races. But he won the one that mattered.
So true. Yep. So my thing is, I think, well, of course, the best case scenario for any driver in any team is to keep winning and win. But from what we're seeing from McLaren so far, if this pace keeps up, like midway through the season, or even maybe 65, 70% into the season, maybe it could get to where, okay, we can cut the boys loose. We have a hold of the constructors. Now you guys just do whatever. Like, you want to win, you take it. You want to win, you take it. Like, what are the chances all right, so say that does happen. Say McLaren just has a chokehold on the constructors and that shit's a wrap by past midway season.
Yeah, I'd say by the summer break, they'll let them race each other for sure. Once if they do have a hold and have enough of a dominance lead, they'll let the two race. But that would be going for the drivers championship. I mean, and it's tight right now. Max is second, Lando's first. Max is second,
Max is still right there.
I mean, he's 8 points down from taking over the drivers championship. But he's got right now. It just seems like he's in a subpar car. It just does not have the power, or something's just off on their car this year. I don't know if it's drivability. That does seem to have tire issues. It seemed they seem to be burning their fronts up way too fast.
Yeah, they're having some issues, and they also had some issues with the other team's car. Yuki Tsunoda was starting off pretty strong this year, and his front wing just gave up. It fell out.
I have a feeling there was probably some minor contact somewhere, or
Had to be.
he picked up a piece of debris from the track, you know, and that kind of stuff happens. That it just something just kind of gives out. I mean, his Sonoda's car. I mean, he's consistent. He's been pretty good. Anything that's this year, his performance is definitely showing how really good he is. You know, there's been some technical issues that have kept him from being in the points. But I think that can change. I mean, it's that the Racing Bulls car, in my opinion, might be the stronger car in the Red Bull family right now.
That's that's crazy to actually think that, but that's what we're seeing. And I know you mentioned, them maybe putting Verstappen in a Racing Bulls car, but you were more so joking about that. But you were right about one thing, or you predicted one thing. So with rookie Lawson just slipping out of control and not looking too good very early, there's now rumors about the Yuki and Liam swap before the Japanese race, which would be dynamic because that's Yuki's hometown. So it's like, all right, yeah.
And honestly, I knew that was probably going to happen. You know, give him the first race. They gave Lawson the first race. You know, bad weather, bad luck, no problem. But you go into Shanghai and you perform as the exact same level as you did in the rain in Melbourne, and they need right now. Red Bull needs 2 cars scoring points. So they are one of the most ruthless teams out there when it comes to driver swaps. And you know, they're fortunate in the fact that they do have a pretty talented pool to pull out of.
When has this happened before, or when has like a crucial driver swap happened before?
It's happened constantly with Red Bull. And they you know, the last big one was when they swapped Pierre Gasly for Alex Albon. Not even quite. Well, I think maybe just a few races into 6-7 races into the season, they pulled the trigger quick because Gasly just couldn't drive that car. And Albon come in and did a better job, and he was over it. I think then it was still Toro Rosso or AlphaTauri, and they switched them out for that race. And you know, and the thing is, Gasly won a race that year in the AlphaTauri for it, so that car suited him better. And you know, honestly, it's probably the best thing they can do is put Lawson back. He's too talented to cut loose. But he's just too green to put in that type of car. The Red Bull car is notoriously hard to drive. It is, you know, it is one of those cars that is very much designed for Max Verstappen. It's his style, his car, and it's really hard for a lot of drivers to step in and do that. And you talk veteran drivers, you know, Perez, other people have stepped into this car and just could not, you know, contend with how well Max Verstappen can drive it. Yuki Tsunoda would be the smartest choice to put in there now because, you know, he's out of contract at the end of the season. You know, so you don't know where he's going to go from there. They have nothing to lose by swapping him over to the Red Bull team or the Works team, and he'll do really well. I think he's ready, and I think they bypassed him. And I think that was a really bad choice in what they did that time. I think it should have been Yuki from the beginning.
Now, okay. All right. So what are the chances you think they do this before next week?
It's happening. It's happening. I would say by Wednesday this week, you'll find out. If Ralph Schumacher is already got his sources talking that the switch is done. It just hasn't been made public yet. And he's one of the reporters that you'll get from inside the F1. And if he's telling you something's about to happen, there's a really good chance it's about to happen. I mean, he had the same thing with Daniel Ricciardo a couple years, you know, last year that the swap was going to happen for Liam Lawson. I mean, this in some ways, I'm sure Ricardo sits back and laughs at this. The same thing happened kind of to him, that Lawson took his seat in a midseason swap. But
Yeah.
so it is kind of poetic justice in some ways. But like I said, Lawson's a great driver, and I really think they just need to give him time to develop. It's really hard to jump into that works car. I mean, you look at Jack Doohan, for example. He's a really good driver, and they've got him in the works Alpine cars. I mean, he's stepped up into a true works car, and he's just not there yet. Whether or not they give him time to grow and develop, that's kind of I haven't seen Alpine be as ruthless, but he doesn't have a lot of time on his side. And I think the same thing with Lawson. Lawson's done. I mean, after that whole performance was just pathetic. I mean, it was pathetic.
Was it that bad?
It was. I mean, starting from the pit lane, because they went in and adjusted everything in the car to make it better for him, and he still couldn't do anything with it. He is not ready, and I think the pressure's already, and he knows the pressure's on him, and he's just can't perform right now. I think putting him back in the Racing Bulls. He's going back to a good car, but he's going back to a team that at least will give him time to develop, and they like him there already.
Yeah, that makes sense. That way, like you said, they have nothing to lose. Actually, they have more to gain. Putting Liam in this car, and then just him making a mess of it, just keep messing up. That can knock his confidence. That can be bad for the team. And it's like, all right, dude, we're gonna put you back in Racing Bulls. Like, we like you, we're gonna rock with you, and we're gonna watch you grow and develop there. That's better for him. It's it's a tough shot to take, but it's better than you being in that car and just keep on.
Because honestly, and this was proven with Gasly, the pressure of having to score consistently,
and that pressure too. Yeah,
the pressure just killed Gasly, and you could just see how it ruined him a few seasons ago. It just shattered his confidence, ruined everything he could do. So Red Bull's not playing that game and dragging this out. As soon as they put Gasly back in the AlphaTauri team, he turned it around really quick. So putting Lawson back into the Racing Bulls is the right choice, and Tsunoda is definitely the right choice to race beside Max.
Yeah, and we see that in sports all the time. I mean, especially like with the young athletes, rookies. I'm not sure if you followed the Washington Commanders this year. They had a rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, just strictly just playing with house money, just killed it, went out there, and his challenges he was facing is vastly different from a vet that's been in there 4 or 5, 6 years, and the expectations are like, boom, up here. It's like, all right, bro, you gotta perform right here. You have to lead the team. Then that's when guys tend to tighten up. And, when the expectations are, Liam, he's still going to have his expectations and what they want him to do in the Racing Bulls car, but it's vastly different from team. Yeah.
I mean, when he came in to replace, because when Daniel Ricciardo broke his wrist 2 seasons ago, and he stepped into that car and immediately scored points. I mean, the very first race in the car, he scored points. And he was consistently running in the points. The rest of the season, or as long as that Daniel was out. And then when he came in last year, he did great. So I think that's the smart choice is to swap them out and get Tsunoda where he's going to go. Honda with the Honda motors leaving Red Bull technically next year and going over to Ashton. Yuki might be the one that he might follow the motor. He may, or if he's so great in the Red Bull, they may look, we found the perfect one to set beside Max for the start of the new season.
Yep, and like you said before, he's gonna know his place.
He's gonna know his place. He knows his
role as the show, and you're gonna get more value from being in this role.
Yep.
All right. So we also have Antonelli, a rookie, who's performing the best currently. He's 5th in the standings right now. And, we were talking about last week, him placing pretty high. and getting in there. We wanted to see a bigger sample size. Now we have 2 races of seeing Antonelli's car talents, racing talents.
He's a good driver, and that goes a lot to the Mercedes. The car this year is the Mercedes car. If McLaren falters at all, I really think Mercedes is poised to take it. I think Ferrari can't get their act together, and I think with Antonelli in that car, and you got George Russell leading, yeah, I think they've got a really good shot. At constructors themselves, but Antonelli's really, he stepped up. He came into this role. And has proven that he deserves that seat, because there was a lot of people thinking, why would you bring a rookie when you've got a great reserve driver sitting here who was a proven race winner in this car? They had the Valtteri Bottas is the reserve driver, and he was available, and he could have stepped in, and they put a veteran in the car that they know can run races, can constantly win races. So they took a big gamble on that, and so far it's proven really good. But it's early in the season; it's 2 races in. One race was a kind of a fluke with the rain. You got the first one coming up, and in Suzuka is notoriously rainy. So you don't know what you're going to get with that one coming up. So we'll see. But yeah, so far he's done, out of all the rookies, he's done well. I hope he continues.
Same. It's freaking nuts putting these young guys in the car.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 teenagers on the
like
2 or 3 teenagers out there that are riding around, and I think 2 of the 3 scored points. Behrman scored points, Antonelli scored points, and these guys are not even 20 years old yet.
Yeah, they're out there doing their thing. But yeah, man. So we have the Japanese race coming up next week. Have you been keeping up with Drive to Survive? Did you finish the season? How far you got?
Oh, I finished it pretty quickly. Yeah, it's a little different when you watch the whole season, and you kind of see what happens and what plays out. And I think a lot of the, Drive to Survive is great, and I love the fact that it brought a lot of attention to Formula One in the United States, and really helped build a fan base here, which something we've lacked for a long time. But they do spin drama. They do tend to create issues that aren't really there.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
between the driver, and that's why That's why Max Verstappen won't participate anymore. I mean, they'll catch him in a few quotes and talking, but he won't sit there and do interviews anymore. He's like, no, you guys try to spin things that's not true, and so that's why he stepped out. And it's. If you watch this will be your first full season watching it all. You watch it all, and when you see Drive to Survive, you already kind of know what happened. You saw the drama. You saw it in live time. It's just giving you an abbreviated season.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more of just like a POV. It's like, okay, what was going through this racer's mind? How were they feeling going into this? What was the team's mindset? Prepping for the races and whatnot. And afterwards.
I did enjoy some of the stuff where they had George Russell and Alex Albon and all were filming their own, and Gasly and Leclerc were filming their own little videos, and I think maybe Lando was involved. That was kind of cool to see. I
thought so too.
Because that those guys are, especially like Russell and Albon. I mean, that's their best. They're best friends. That's their buddy. And
they grew up together doing it.
Grew up together. They vacation together. They do everything together. And so they even fly commercial together, apparently, that, even though George has the money to fly private.
I'm sure he does.
But he's cheap.
Hey, nothing wrong with that sometimes.
No, not at
all. All right. Sweet. So we're coming up on time, John. Did you have anything else for us, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a good race coming up for Suzuka. And I think once we get through this race, you'll start to see kind of where it's going to shape up, because we have Bahrain right after that, and then Miami. And by the time we hit Miami, you're really going to see who's got the legs to make the season. This race is going to be interesting. If it's dry, you never know what's going to happen. If it's wet, it could be, there's no way to call who's going to win if it's wet. again, I'm still rooting for Verstappen to win it, but
yeah, dude, I do. I just like seeing him dominate. I just like seeing greatness, man. It's exciting.
yeah,
It's like every sport needs that dominant villain.
Yeah, you always got to have the good bad guy,
right? Or Tom Brady with the Patriots. It's like, damn, they win every damn year. Folks just tune in to see if they can do it again. And that's honestly what really gripped me and brought me into the sport. Just watching Max Verstappen. It's like, damn.
Yeah, everybody loves to hate him.
In the game,
loves to hate him.
Right.
But he's just so dominant, and if they can figure out what's wrong with his car, which Red Bull notoriously will play around with things and they'll get it back. They're not that far off pace. He was doing pretty good. If you looked at if you watched the end of the Chinese Grand Prix, he really started coming alive. I don't know if he was just sitting back there protecting his tires or whatnot, but he came alive toward the end. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this car's got a little more pace in it than he was giving it. He was just kind of reserved that he wasn't going to win this race, so he just sat back and forth and just kind of stayed there. And he passed both Ferraris, and he was really pushing. And so it does show the car's got some pace. So let's see if they can correct it in the next 2 weeks. When it kicks back off. I think we have 11 days before the kickoff of the next one, and go on from there. And Ferrari needs to unscrew their head. Their ass.
I agree. All right, guys, that's about a wrap. John, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely, appreciate coming back.
Guys, tune in to the Formula One race in Japan next week. That one's at 1:00, so it's at a better time than 3 a.m. So
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it'll be I believe the 6th of April. So we got a week and a half.
Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe we'll be up smoking cigars and watching that one. Yeah.
Sounds good.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in to We the Champs. We out. Peace.